Look, man, at the end of the day, you don't rise to the motivation or the inspiration when it comes. You fall to the habits that you built for yourself and that you built, in your life. Like the motivation is always gonna feel good when it comes. The inspiration is always gonna feel good when it comes, man. It's gonna push you to get up and work. It's gonna push you to get up and show up every single day. It's gonna push you to go change something and go work on something, right? But at the end of the day, like that motivation can't save you. The inspiration can't save you. The motivational videos on TikTok can't save you. Like when your life gets hard and you don't have any motivation to do anything, you don't have inspiration to do anything. There's nobody in your corner telling you to go do this or go do that, go try this, go try that. There's nobody, helping you show up every single day. You're gonna fall to your habits. You're gonna fall to the habits that you built for yourself. Because like I always say, bro, the motivation is gonna come and go. Like it's not always there. That motivation is temporary. The inspiration is temporary. Hey, you might see a video here, you might hear somebody talking there, and you're gonna be motivated to go do something. Or, motivation is just gonna come out of nowhere. And you're gonna feel unstoppable some days when you have that feeling. Like you're so motivated, you're so inspired, and you're working, you're showing up every single day. But what do you do on the days where you don't feel that? You know what I'm saying? What do you do on the days where you feel empty? You don't know what to do. You have no motivation to get up and do anything. You're not inspired to get up and do anything. Like if that motivation is all you rely on, if the inspiration is all you rely on to get up and show up and work every single day, then you're only gonna move and you're only gonna, take that step forward when it's convenient for you or when it might feel comfortable for you. Like I say, bro, you always gotta let your discipline, kick in over your motivation. And that's why we see so many people start strong, especially with the New Year's coming up, man. Everybody's gonna have these New Year's resolutions. Everybody gonna get in the gym. Everybody gonna do this. They're gonna start content. They're gonna do that. Like you're gonna see a lot of new things, bro, because people are motivated. People are inspired. But after that first week of 2026, after that first month of 2026, like you're not gonna see as many people in the gym as you did in the first week. You're not gonna see as much content. You're not gonna see, people what they started. Like they're not gonna finish it because they're relying on that motivation. They're relying on that inspiration, and the people are just gonna quit quietly because they're not letting the habits kick in. They're not letting the discipline kick in. Like they have no habits to fall on. They have no discipline to fall on. Like that's what you really got to build first. Because like I said, the inspiration is gonna come, the inspiration is gonna go, the motivation is gonna flee. A lot of times, like I tell you all the time, bro, I'm not motivated to get on here and talk every single day. I'm not inspired to do that every single day, but I know the goals I have for myself. I know where I want to be and I know what I want to do, so I get up here, I be consistent. I let my habits kick in. I let my discipline kick in, regardless of how I feel, regardless of what I'm thinking, anything like that. Like you still got to be able to show up every single day. You still got to have good habits because your habits decide who you become. Your habits really shape your whole life. Like when the pressure comes, when times get hard, when you start to fail a little bit, when you're struggling, like you don't think where to go next. You don't think what to do next. You just are defaulted to something. You're defaulted to whatever your routine is, whatever your habits are. Like your habits, they decide how you respond, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you're discouraged, when you might be down, even when you're up. Like your habits are always there. And that's what decides how you move. That's what decides how you respond. So that's why I always speak on habits. I always speak on routines. Like those things matter more than the goals you have for yourself. And I know that might sound crazy, but without the habits, without the routines, like you're not going to be able to get to those goals. You're not going to be able to, step forward daily. You're not going to be able to grow. You're not going to be able to progress because you have nothing to fall back on when that motivation isn't there. Like to get to the goals you want to get to the dreams you have for yourself, it's going to take more than showing up only when you're inspired, only when you're motivated to do so. Like you got to show up every single day, regardless of the emotions, regardless of the feelings, regardless of if you have motivation or if you don't. Like you still got to show up. So I say all that to say, like, you got to build habits that hold you up, even in the times where you might feel down, or even in the times where you might be tired, you're not feeling like doing anything. Like if you want discipline in the hard seasons, if you want discipline and if you want to, still be able to move and show up in the times where it's hard, you got to practice these things in the seasons that might feel easy, in the seasons that might feel like you're winning or you're making progress or you're seeing growth. You got to build habits. You got to build good routines, whether that be prayer, work ethic, you know, a different focus upon something, consistency, simply just showing up. Like, all these things aren't feelings. You know what I'm saying? These things aren't motivations. They're not inspirations. Like, you don't feel any emotion attached to these things. They're habits. Your habits are what kick in consistently. Your habits are what kick in on a daily basis, even when you're tired, even when you're sad, you're hurt, whatever the emotion might be, you fall back down to your habits, bro. So you got to build good habits and make good habits and good routines in order to get to the person you want to get to, in order to reach the goals that you want to reach. You know what I'm saying? Because God can bless what you're building consistently. If you're working on your habits consistently, if you're working on these habits each and every day, no matter what it is, like, God's going to be able to build you. God's going to be able to allow you to grow. He's going to help you, build these habits, bro. So especially with the new year coming up, bro, especially with the new year coming up, you got to start working on your habits, bro. You got to start working on your routines, because like I said, when the new year starts and you have all these goals, you have all these resolutions, yeah, it's going to feel great in the first week. It's going to feel great in the first month. You're going to be kicking it. You're going to be grinding every single day. But what about when that motivation wears out? I'm saying, what about when the inspiration is gone and you have nothing left to go off of anymore? You just like, yeah, it was cool while it lasted. Like, don't let that happen, bro. Like, whatever you start, you gotta finish, but you ain't gonna be able to finish it without good habits or good routines. So stop chasing motivation, stop chasing the inspiration, stop chasing this high of feeling motivated to do something, and start building your habits right now, like today. Because when that motivation is gone, when that inspiration is gone, your habits are what remain. Your discipline is what remains. The routines is what remains, because the motivation is gone. And those habits that you build today or you start working on today will determine where you land tomorrow. It will determine where you land in a month, in a year. Like, are you still going to be chasing after that goal you said you would on January 1st? Or are you going to quit because you have no habits to rely on? So go build those habits, bro, especially with the new year coming up, man. So you don't just run off of motivation. But that'll be all for this video, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. If you like this video, go hit that sub button. I'm on the way to 800 subs. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I'll see y'all on the next one.